Introducing first, from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, weighing in tonight at 231 pounds, he is your future General Manager, the Gavel, David Lawless, Esquire!
Ladies and gentlemen, it is December 14th of 2019. My name's Jim Amata, being joined by Pittsburgh legend Paul Atlas. And Paul, tonight it is the biggest event of the year for Ryse, the 3rd anniversary spectacular. This night will determine the future of Ryse Pro Wrestling. And brother, we are stacked.
Without a doubt, it's going to prove the future in more ways than one. And it's going to start off here with this big matchup to determine who will be the new general manager of Ryse Wrestling.
And introducing his opponents. On the combined weight of 331 pounds, the team of the Mathlete Lewis, the Keystone Soldier, Drake Braddock. They are military intelligence.
To your point, Paul, the authority of Ryse will be determined in this matchup. If military intelligence can defeat David Lawless, the eccentric star man himself, Jim Sterling, will be the Ryse general manager. However, if Lawless is able to overcome these odds, the Gavel has the power.
God help us all if that happens.
And let's not forget, last month, Dr. Dan shot his mouth off, said that if he was defeated in a matchup against Ziggy Haim, he would ban himself from the building tonight. This was originally supposed to be a tag matchup. Dr. Dan is banned, and Lawless has to go at it alone.
Yeah, he really helped his partner out with that one, didn't he?
And as much as we've seen the Gavel manipulate the rules inside and outside of the legal boundaries of the law, it's a little apropos, a little turnabout fair play that the Gavel now has the technicalities used against him in this situation. I can't say I'm very sorry that the odds are tilted against David Lawless.
Hey, I'm good with it.
One of the things that we've seen throughout this building, Paul, all night is everyone's a little on edge. You can tell the stakes have been raised in many ways.
Oh, without a doubt they have. And
the last 36 months of Ryse Pro Wrestling comes down to tonight.
That it does.
Brandon Kay and Lee Moriarty will battle against the Grindhouse of Shirley and Derek Direction in our main event. The Rise of the Contender Tournament winner, the #1 contender Tony Johnson, will challenge the reigning and defending Matt Conard for the Ryse Grand Championship in the feature presentation. The Firebird Shawn Phoenix makes his in-ring return to Ryse Pro Wrestling. It's a hell of a night. It should be a history-making night as we have the opening bell here for the Gavel against Military Intelligence.
And it looks like Lewis is going to start out here for Military Intelligence.
And the Gavel immediately tries to cheap shot the bullet catcher.
Oh, hey, he's going to have to do something here to try and even these odds out.
Yeah, I have a feeling the longer this matchup goes, the more it will favor Military Intelligence.
Oh, without a doubt it will. You got two guys going on one. Lawless don't get a chance to take a break. Military Intelligence can tag in and out.
Lateral press here hooks that leg. And to your point, as you can see, Lawless is trying to get this one over with as fast as possible. He knows he's on borrowed time under these odds. And as I said, forgive me if I'm not too sympathetic to David Lawless.
Oh, hey, couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Yeah, we've listened to hashtag privilege, as they like to call themselves, shoot their mouths off for months and months. And Dr. Dan did it, and this time it came back to bite him in the ass because now he can't be here to help out his running buddy.
One thing that we know about David Lawless, and don't get me wrong, the guy gives me hives. I can't even be around him without needing a Benadryl. Beautiful underhook suplex, maneuvers like that. He is a polished professional.
Oh, he is definitely a tactician in that ring. You know, put aside that ego and bravado of David Lawless, and underneath is a superior athlete. There's no two ways about that.
And that may be the only flaw in his game, is that ego. As a tactician, as an in-ring athlete, as an all-round wrestler, excuse me, David Lawless doesn't have, no pun intended, any flaws in his game other than he's so damn arrogant.
And sometimes to a degree, and to a point, that could be to his advantage. So, you notice he got Lewis down there. He took the time to play to the crowd a little bit, but that was actually his way of taking a breather since he does not have a tag team partner.
And right now, he's using his power and size advantage to rough up Lewis.
Yeah, but you know, I've always called Lewis the Ricky Morton of Ryse Wrestling. This young man can take a hellacious beating and still come back and find a way to win.
And this is going to be the Gavel's game plan, to meticulously try to isolate an opponent, because that's what he's going to have to do in this handicap match situation. Beautiful vertical leap to drop the leg.
Well, sure. If he can keep Lewis in there and he can keep Drake Braddock on the outside, this is a one-on-one matchup.
Absolutely. He can create a one-on-one scenario out of this handicap match situation. But to your point, the Stronghold has really adopted Lewis as one of its own, and they are always behind him, and he thrives on that momentum as he's trying to extricate himself here. Finds his way out. And that's what I'm telling you when it comes to athletics. David Lawless, a beautiful vertical leap. But again, that ego may come back to bite him. You can't hesitate in a handicap matchup.
No, but as I said before, though, this is kind of his way of taking a break and catching a breather. I'm not agreeing with his arrogant tactics. But again, he's got to do whatever he can to keep himself fresh, since he does not have someone to tag out to.
Charges in, runs into a back elbow for his troubles. Lewis here, improvised offense, nice swinging DDT. But now we've seen Lewis sustain punishment for the past several minutes. He makes it to Drake Braddock. It could be a very short night for the Gavel.
And this is where that disadvantage to Lawless comes into play.
In comes Drake Braddock, the human personification of a can of Red Bull. All action, all energy is Drake Braddock.
Hey, this guy was trained by the best, our U.S. military. He is not only a house of fire, he's a ball of energy too, and he's deadly with those strikes.
Shotgun drop kick. The Gavel ricochets off the buckles and still gets his shoulders off the canvas. Hate him or hate him, you have to admire the resiliency of David Lawless. He's no ham sandwich.
Oh, hey, this guy's got a lot on the line. He's got a lot of proof here tonight. He has stated for months that he deserves to be the general manager of Ryse Wrestling. And this is now his chance to prove that.
Avoids the contact there. Stiff right hand. I believe Drake Braddock still may be the legal man. I'm not sure.
I kind of lost track at this point. I hope our ref hasn't been.
Referee Nick Davidson, one of the best in Pittsburgh. Interception from Lawless.
5 minutes gone by, 5 minutes.
Tilt-a-whirl, and again, nice improvised offense from the Gavel. Not sure what the hell he was going for there, but he's going to go for a cover anyway.
And again, there comes that man advantage into play.
Don't you feel bad for David Lawless?
I can't say that I do.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
That's it.
But if he wins the role of general manager, we're all in trouble.
Well, you heard him when he come out. He said he's going to fire us. Good luck with that, pal.
Back elbow cracks Drake Braddock in the face. Could be going for that pump handle backbreaker. That's a signature.
Got Lewis out the back door.
And military intelligence is firing on all cylinders here. Beautiful tandem offense. Hooks that leg. Good night.
Got him.
The winners of this match as a result of a pinfall, the athlete Lewis, the Keystone Soldier, Braddock, military intelligence.
I believe that military intelligence should win some type of an award because they just spared us.
Hey, they did. They made Sterling our general manager instead of this moron.
They spared us the reign of David Wallace as GM. And Paul, in 2020, the star man himself, Jim Sterling, will take over as the general manager of Ryse. But right now, before we conclude 2019, the spotlight of the stronghold is on Lewis and Drake Braddock, military intelligence.
Attention, attention. It is time for the Uprise promotional challenge to begin. If Warhorse can defeat Tyler Voxx and Keith Haught, they will be promoted to the Ryse roster. Warhorse, you have been dominant on Uprise, but now begins the test of a lifetime. Can you gain entry to the Ryse roster? Well, let's find out. Good luck.
Introducing first, a combined weight of 610 pounds, the team of Crosshairs Kelly and Pat the Bruiser. They are Warhorse.
Paul, these are two big bad hombres, and they quite literally have a chance to take their careers to the next level, as this team that has steamrolled nearly everyone in Uprise has a chance to make the Ryse roster on the biggest stage of the year here at the Ryse Anniversary Spectacular.
That's right. This match was made last event, and this is Warhorse's chance to join the Ryse main roster. And I'll tell you what, they will change the tag team scene here for sure if that happens.
And introducing their opponents. And a combined weight of 427 pounds, the Bearcat, Keith Haught, and the Appalachian Werewolf, Tyler Voxx.
A tag team direct from the Animal Planet, Paul.
Tell ya, lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my. The lovable, eccentric Keith Haught and the Appalachian Werewolf are looking to make a statement of their own. And look at the demeanor of Warhorse. Those two have not taken their eyes off of Keith Haught
They know
or
what's
Tyler
at stake.
Voxx.
Yeah, they know exactly what's at stake here. They want to be on this Ryse main roster, and they want to go after those Ryse tag team championships.
And Paul, let's not forget, as accomplished as Keith Haught is, he's been on somewhat of a skid here in recent months.
Yeah, he's definitely not had luck on his side, that's for sure. And then to top it all off, at our last event, when we saw Honey Badger just materialize out of the darkness, she basically turned her back. That was his tag team partner before, and she just turned her back on him.
Tyler Voxx also came up short, albeit by nefarious means, against David Wallace last month. So both Keith Haught and Tyler Voxx are looking to get back on the winning track here in this matchup. I'm not sure that Keith Haught wants to exchange shots with Crosshairs Kelly.
Oh, no, I don't think that's very smart.
Paul, let me ask you, as far as not only from a tag team wrestling perspective, but just generally speaking in a career, when you're on the biggest stage of the calendar, if you're on a losing streak like Keith Haught and Tyler Voxx right now, what would it do to your psyche if you come up short here?
Well, it's going to do a tremendous amount to your psyche. I mean, Keith Haught for months has been trying to get back on track. And now here we are on the biggest stage of all. And basically, Keith Haught has the chance to play a bit of a spoiler, if you will, because if him and Tyler Voxx can get a victory here tonight, Crosshairs Kelly and Pac the Bruiser are back down to the Uprise roster.
And you can see that the urgency from Keith Haught, he knows that he's on a skid. He knows he needs to reestablish himself in the win column because we're seeing some extra intensity from Keith Haught here early on.
And, neither one of those two are strangers to tag team wrestling. As I referenced before, Keith Haught was teaming with Honey Badger, and Tyler Voxx, before winning his spot on the Ryse roster, was a tag team with Chase Winners.
And ironically, the only loss that Warhorse has in Uprise was to the team of Tyler Voxx and Chase Winners.
And that gives the advantage right now, you would think, to Voxx and Haught, because Voxx knows what it takes to beat these guys. But I don't know if there is an advantage when it comes to Warhorse.
Paul, I'm going to tell you what, Crosshairs Kelly and Pat the Bruiser, I believe we're going to be talking about for a long, long time, as the unorthodox nature of Tyler Voxx is effective here.
Think about it this way, Jim. If Warhorse makes the main roster here tonight, and say the main event happens to gain the championships tonight, can you imagine that? Can you imagine?
I don't think the ring could hold that.
Between those, I mean, the main event are monsters amongst the men themselves, but Crosshairs Kelly and Dick the Bruiser can definitely match them power for power.
Pat the Bruiser. Dick the Bruiser's his uncle.
Yeah, I know.
2.5 there.
I'm old.
Look at Keith Haught, rapid palm strikes. And that's what I'm telling you, man. Keith Haught has had a renewed focus here. He knows that he needs a victory on this stage. He knows his own Ryse career could be in peril if you come up short in this exchange.
Oh, it's right. Too many losses, and not only are you at the bottom, you could be out the door.
Oh, man, what a shot. You saw the head ricochet on impact.
I'm not sure, but I think I saw a molar fly.
And drives the knee into the collarbone.
That is like getting hit by a Mack truck.
Lateral press here. Not enough body-on-body contact. And look at Crosshairs Kelly grinding the forearm across the nose. That is next-level nastiness from Warhorse. Paul, I truly believe win, lose, or draw here. I think one way or another, we're going to be talking about Warhorse for a long time.
Oh, no two ways about that. But also notice, there's no wasted motion here. Every single thing Crosshairs Kelly is doing in that ring right now is inflicting some type of punishment, whether it's kneeling against his head with a forearm, standing on his hand. There's just no wasted motion there.
Or this transition here, not allowing Tyler Voxx any chance to get out of the corner. Effortlessly there from Pat the Bruiser. And Voxx only finds 2 in that exchange. These guys are so dynamic, so impactful. One shot from Pat the Bruiser can put you down.
Oh, a little chiropractic work being done there. And listen to Crosshairs Kelly getting into the head of both Tyler Voxx and Keith Haught.
Referencing those losing streaks that we talked about earlier.
Yeah. Trying to get in Vox's head by mentioning where his tag team partner is. Trying to get in Haught's head by, hey, why aren't you the champ?
5 minutes gone by, 5 minutes.
And if you need any example of the strategic plan of Warhorse, look where Tyler Voxx is right now. He has been stuck in the Warhorse half of the ring for several minutes. They aren't even allowing him to get across the ring in any way, shape, or form. as Pat the Bruiser drives all the air out of Voxx.
Wow, credit Voxx for having any energy
tenacity.
Left. Any energy left.
That's all tenacity. If you have to want to make an impact in this industry if you're going to kick out of something like that. Hearing these smacks and these kicks is just uncomfortable.
Oh, these guys are just violence personified, as big and nasty as both men are.
Quite arguably, they may be the most physical tag team in Uprise or Rise. Jumping kick, act of desperation, but he may have caught Pat the Bruiser behind the ear.
I'm not even sure if Voxx realized he did that. He's completely out of it.
He may be running on instinct here.
If he doesn't get the Keith Haught soon, this could be over. He got it.
Pair of tags. And Keith Haught has been aching for a tag here. A rare miscommunication from Warhorse. That may be the turning point here.
Haught definitely suckered both men in.
And look at the Bearcat roll.
Splashes all around by the Bearcat. But neither man has really left their feet.
And again, another rare miscommunication.
Look out here.
And we're having some improvised tandem offense from Voxx and Keith Haught.
Beautifully executed Samoan drop on the big man.
Paul, upset. That was, I don't know if you get any closer than that.
You can't.
And considering that Warhorse is a regular tag team, I sincerely believe if Keith Haught and Tyler Voxx, taking nothing away from them as individual athletes, I believe that if they pull this one out, it's an upset. And Keith Haught's up top. Keith Haught wins a splash off the top. And the body of Voxx being used to break it up. That may have just been coincidental, Paul. Warhorse was very close to seeing their chance to officially join the Ryse roster go out the window.
Yeah, but if you saw just now, I don't think that was accidental, because then he was able to drag Crosshairs Kelly over to the corner and make the tag. Wow, I just planted him.
Big time impact. Keith Haught doesn't see it, but he does now. The Bearcat might be unconscious.
He's just kind of limping in the arms of both.
Look out. He got planted. Game over.
Warhorse has officially joined the Ryse roster.
The winners of this match and new members of the Ryse roster, Pat the Bruiser and Crosshairs Kelly, Warhorse!
Voxx and Keith Haught put a hell of an effort up there, but a clear, decisive, and definitive victory. And to your point earlier, Paul, I believe the complexion of Ryse's tag team division has completely changed here. The Warhorse injection may bring a whole new dynamic to the Ryse tag team division.
I hope both participants in tonight's tag team title match were looking on, because whoever wins that championship, I can guarantee you Warhorse is coming for them.
Introducing first, from Brooklyn, New York, he is the American Attraction, M.V. Young!
He is brash, he is arrogant, but he is a damn good professional wrestler. This young man has made waves all over the Empire State. He has fought anyone, anywhere, anytime, at any venue, but he's got a hell of a fight ahead of him here tonight in the Stronghold.
He's just not a young, brash, strong professional wrestler. He's a fighter as well.
Introducing his opponent, Gonzalez. Weighing in at over 20 stone, he is the mountain giant of the Northern Kingdom. He is Titan.
This Viking goes where he wants, when he wants, and he may be quite possibly, literally, the biggest debut at a Ryse anniversary event. Power, speed, and agility document this man's resume, who just came back from Japan, a tour with the Wrestle One promotion, the organization founded by the legendary Great Muta, and to be a foreigner, to be invited to Japan by the Great Muta speaks volumes to the ability that this humongous athlete brings to the table.
Oh, they definitely, you do not just go over there and compete in Japan. If you're invited there, you must be one hell of a competitor.
At least we know that referee George is not brandering. Whoa.
George got a little more for his money than he bargained for there.
Now we all... Hello.
He looks like...
Titan's a little eccentric, isn't he?
To say the least.
With the Brody-esque boots, which I appreciate. I don't know if MV Young really knows what to make of Titan here.
Yeah, I think in the bars and the streets of New York, you're not going to run into too many people like Titan. Although maybe you will.
That's covering a lot of ground. That is New York. But this is that arrogant nature of MV Young. He's not going to back down from anybody. He truly believes he is as good as anybody, and that may be the case. I believe Titan is trying to pull MV Young's punk card.
Yeah, it looks like it.
I don't know if you want to do that, because MV Young is a talented striker, a man that trained under the supervision of one Larry Zbyszko in Orlando, Florida. And Titan suckered him in. Titan suckered MV Young in. And if you need a pair of Titan's fingerprints, you can find them on the torso of MV Young. That physical, strong style of Japan is being brought back here to the stronghold, courtesy of Titan, on the torso of MV Young.
Yeah, but a good old-fashioned rake to the eyes will get you every time.
And the big man just bull rushed through MV Young. You know, there's just something unsettling about MV Young, Paul. He just oozes arrogance.
Yeah, I mean, look, he just basically got bowled over by Titan, and he's really not showing that he gives a damn about it.
I don't think Titan's much of a scholar, you know that?
No, I'm guessing he failed a class or two.
Probably not reading Shakespeare. Titan puts on the brakes, getting that lower center of gravity. Overpowers MV Young, who bounces off the buckles and seeks the safety of the outside. Very smart, creating a timeout.
Wisely taking the professional wrestling version of a timeout and rolling out of that ring.
Paul, if you can, you know, I mentioned earlier the Wrestle One tour in Japan for Titan. What can international experience do for an athlete? How does that help them add to their resume?
Oh, what it's going to do is it's going to offer you more styles, more ways of combat, more ways of basically hurting people as well.
Diversifying your repertoire, so to speak.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely. And
especially as you said, you stated, you don't just go to Japan. You just don't go wrestle for the Great Muta. You've got to be invited. So that means you've already got a pretty impressive resume to begin with. But then to add that knowledge to your resume, that just takes it up one more notch.
And it looks like MV Young may be trying to reassert himself here, but he got caught. And you could hear the contact across the collarbones. That's some domination, Paul. Titan is doing whatever he wants with MV Young.
Yeah, MV Young is usually a right-in-your-face, punch-in-the-mouth type of guy. But he might want to rethink that strategy going up against Titan. I don't think he's going to be able to go blow for blow with this man.
And again, MV seeking the solace of the outside, and Titan isn't going to let him recover. Titan's going to try to press forward here, and if MV doesn't see him, he's going to see him real soon. He suckered him in, Paul.
Yeah, he did. Like I said, he had to change that strategy up a little bit.
From the cerebral aspect of this matchup, MV Young has an advantage.
Oh, let's face it, he's a PhD compared to this guy.
Look out.
So that's going to stop his heart.
That's the fastest I've seen Red Watson move in a long time. Red got the hell out of the way, and I don't blame him.
Food involved.
And now he's gnawing on the face of MV Young.
Speaking of food, he's just looking for a little snack.
Titan may be a crazed cannibal here in Lamont Furnace. Oh, MV's taking a seat before he gets hit once again. No rest for the weary.
No.
5 minutes gone by, 5 minutes.
And while MV Young may be wondering where he is currently located, I can tell you where to locate a tremendous amount of good wrestling with this obligatory plug, Indie Wrestling Network, $5.99 a month. Make sure you head over to IndyWrestling.us. Check it out. Get a free trial for 7 days. Ton of great events. Hundreds of hours of content for $5.99 a month. Indie Wrestling Network and IndyWrestling.us. And just as I finish the obligatory plug, MV Young is still retreating. I got to be honest with you, it's smart strategy.
Sure, he's got to slow it down.
He's allowing himself to recover.
Like I said before, he had to rethink this strategy. He's not going to go toe-to-toe with this guy.
Yeah, his usual MO is not going to be effective here. We're going to see how deep in the playbook MV Young can dig. Up and over he goes. Again, using his mind to outsmart Titan. Perched up top. Nice missile dropkick. MV Young knows he has to take a chance because he is physically overmatched here. And launching himself at Titan. And the arrogance still shows through as he drives the knee right to the side of the face. And if you couldn't tell, Titan still has a lot left in the tank.
It seems that way. To take the punishment he did and still be in this matchup, hey, credit to MV Young.
And despite taking these shots, Titan is working his way back up to a vertical base, which has to frustrate the hell out of MV Young.
Oh, I'm sure. You know, this guy might have the IQ of a saltine cracker, but he's a hell of a fighter.
Stiff headbutts. It's almost a missing link-esque
I'm telling you there.
What do you think Gary Hart would think of Titan?
I'll tell you what, he'd welcome right into the fold. We got a little Bruiser Brody, a little missing link. Damn, it's like the 80s all over again.
And with the link headbutt off the second.
Oh, just
Titan
that close.
Very close to a successful debut here in Ryse. And Paul, Titan, a man that's based out of Texas, that, as we said, toured Japan. He's really expanding himself in recent months. If you want to establish yourself here in Pittsburgh, Ryse is the place to do it. We have a jam-packed crowd here. This is the time to make your name in Pittsburgh.
And not only at Ryse Wrestling, but on Ryse Wrestling's biggest event of the year, the anniversary show.
MV Young escapes, tries to go for a patented German suplex, one of his favorite maneuvers. And I believe that was a blatant low blow. Referee George didn't see it.
MV Young knowing he's got to do whatever he can right now to gain a victory here.
He's pleading innocence. He's about as innocent as OJ. Catches Titan a shot from behind. Titan never saw it. And he got him! Upset!
Unbelievable.
Paul, I have to think that's an upset.
It has to
The
be.
winner of this match as a result of a pinfall, the American Attraction, MV Young!
Wow, MV Young with a victory over the massive, well-traveled Titan. And MV Young has just definitely catapulted himself up the ladder here at Ryse Wrestling.
He was overmatched. He was overpowered, but he wasn't outthought. MV Young, as cerebral as they come, he was one, maybe two steps ahead of the big man Titan, and MV Young could be making his presence known here in 2020 for Ryse Pro Wrestling.
Introducing first, standing at 4 feet 11 inches tall, from Las Vegas, Nevada, she is the Straight Diamond Dog, Ziggy Haim!
The walking embodiment of self-belief, the walking embodiment of self-determination, Ziggy Haim. Despite a small frame, has determined to blaze her own trail, to walk her own path. And she's been doing that month after month here in Ryse Wrestling.
And introducing her opponent, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, he weighs in tonight at 165 pounds. He is unbreakable, Shawn Phoenix!
The fire of the Phoenix has been reignited just over a year after he was life-flighted to a hospital, after not only his career, but his life was in jeopardy. The Phoenix has risen. The Firebird is back at Ryse Wrestling. This is what you have on your iPod, right?
It's the tops on my playlist.
December 14th, 2019. My name's Jim Amato, your Paul Atlas. The return of the Hot Topic Hayabusa, Shawn Phoenix, to Ryse Pro Wrestling. However, Paul, a very unique scenario here, because one of his best friends and tag partners, Ziggy Haim, is the one to challenge Shawn Phoenix in his return here at Ryse, and clearly when that bell rings, Ziggy Haim is putting that friendship aside.
Hey, Ziggy Haim has spent most of that past year that Shawn Phoenix has been on the shelf trying to establish herself as a contender for the Ryse Grand Championship.
Nice reverse here from Ziggy, who grabs wrist control. Phoenix rolls through, but as does Ziggy. That is both defensive and offensive wrestling, which allowed her to maintain control of the wrist lock. And you have to wonder, will there be any ring rust for Shawn Phoenix?
I'm sure there's going to be quite a bit. I mean, this was not your average injury. Shawn Phoenix literally cracked his skull and almost died in that accident. So, this wasn't like a knee injury or putting your shoulder out. There's no real time to train and come back. I mean, he spent most of that year just trying to walk with balance.
Yeah, absolutely. Pair of Japanese arm drags. As these two exchange, you can see how well they know each other. Paul, ironically, Shawn Phoenix's last match at Ryse in September of 2018 was in a tag matchup with Ziggy Haim. Ziggy dropped down, avoids the contact. Phoenix gets hung up. Oh, man. And Paul, I hate to bring it up. I hate to put a cloud over this moment. But the fact that Shawn Phoenix, as you said, he cracked his skull every time he gets dropped on that head, you have to it makes me cringe. It makes me uncomfortable.
Well, sure. I mean, as I said before, an injury like that, he spent a majority of this past year just learning the basics of life again, how to walk with balance. I mean, from what I understand, he lost hearing in one of his ears. I mean, this was not your run-of-the-mill, knee injury.
And I think Phoenix is realizing that he can't take it easy on Ziggy Haim. Friends or not, he's in a fight. Like I said, when that bell rang, Ziggy Haim put the friendship aside, and she continues to outmaneuver Phoenix.
And ironically, she's choosing maneuvers that are basically giving impacts to Shawn Phoenix's head.
Well, look at it this way, Paul. When Shawn Phoenix was on the shelf, as harsh as this sounds, Ziggy Haim had a career to continue, and that's what she did. She's not going to throw her career away, throw her opportunities away for Shawn Phoenix. Oh!
And Shawn just lit her up.
And now the Firebird realizes that he has to fight back here. And a can you top this? Yeah. The animosity has broken out here. This is competition.
Yeah, this has gone from a friendly little game to an outright parking lot brawl.
Phoenix realizes his tag partner could use this victory to propel her own career to get back in contention for that Ryse Grand Championship as she follows Phoenix in with the forearm. He does the same, drives the knees into the sternum.
Back and forth action here with neither one gaining an upper hand.
And she had it scouted. She suckered him in. We can see the ring rust.
Yeah, Shawn Phoenix.
Just small slips, but when you're in there with an athlete the caliber of Ziggy Haim, she can take advantage of all of it. Oh, man, she caves in the chest with a kick. Phoenix got hit so hard he almost tumbled out of the ring there, Paul.
And he would have cracked his head again on that concrete floor. That could have been a disaster.
Up and over he goes. Rolls through. Ziggy still one step ahead in these exchanges. Off the ropes. Meteora drives Phoenix down to the canvas again, hooks the leg, back press.
And once again, targeting that head area.
Paul, did you see the way that she pressed her weight down on that pinfall attempt to get the maximum amount of pressure down on the shoulders?
Sure, and let's face it, she's a small girl to begin with, so it takes everything she can to keep somebody on that mat.
She's absolutely smart enough to maximize her pinfall attempts. Phoenix counters, hangs onto the arm, has wrist control, steps through, and a heel trip from Ziggy, who again is continuing to stay ahead of the Firebird. It's very rare that someone outquicks Shawn Phoenix, but that's what we're seeing here.
Well, but I'm not shocked. Like I said, he's been on the shelf for a year. And again, not training or trying to come back from a traditional injury. I'm sure he's lost a lot of quickness and a lot of ability right now that he's going to have to try to get back here.
Look out.
5 minutes gone by, 5 minutes.
But we can also see how well these two know each other as former or current tag partners, really. Sit out Liger bomb. That could be it. Oh, man. That was 2.9 there.
That's about as close as you can get.
Phoenix motioning to the top, but will there be any hesitation from Shawn Phoenix? Because going to the top.
We're about to find out.
That's how he cracked his skull in the first place. Will the memories of that fateful evening last October, will it haunt?
I interrupt you, Jim, but did you see the way he stared at that turnbuckle before he started to climb it? I think he did hesitate a little. He's thinking about this.
Could the ghost of that injury haunt Shawn Phoenix here tonight? And that hesitation, to your point, has cost him because Ziggy's up in this high-risk situation here. Look out. Oh, Phoenix caught her. But Ziggy counters Hurricane Rana off the top.
And again, Phoenix's head bouncing off that canvas.
Ziggy is using leverage to the utmost advantage here. Crucifix bomb. She got him. Stuck the shoulders to the canvas, and Ziggy continues her roll.
Over this match as the result of the pinfall, the Straight Diamond Dog, Ziggy Haim.
Paul, you were right. That hesitation going to the top is ultimately what caused Shawn Phoenix. But after the bell rang, these two are very close. They are best friends outside of professional wrestling. And outside of competition, you have to say that it's damn good to see Shawn Phoenix back in a wrestling ring, because there was a time we didn't think that was going to happen again.
There was a time where we didn't even think we'd see Shawn Phoenix alive again, let alone in a wrestling ring. This young man has come back from a lot, and to see him compete here today, well, that's just a great feeling.
Hell of a victory for Shawn Phoenix. I'm sorry, for Ziggy Haim. Hell of a comeback for Shawn Phoenix. And Paul, we're still rolling, brother. More anniversary action coming up next. Opportunity to etch their names forever in the history books of Pittsburgh professional wrestling. And here we go.
Oh!
Oh! Everhart, he just hit Ganon with a chair.
Right in that injured leg. Oh my God, right in the head. I am in shock. System Elite has done what no one could do for 27 months. They have beat the main event.
I'm sorry. Against System Elite in the finals, I took my eye off the ball.
Nobody expected it. Put an asterisk right by System Elite. Your first ever Ryse Tag Team Champion.
And still, your Ryse Tag Team Champion.
Right now, we're standing here without any championships. System Elite will have to face the main event.
What have you done in Ryse for the past couple months? We're here every single month defending these titles, and we're winning.
While the main event is that Ryse Wrestling to become champions.
We beat the team that nobody could beat.
Don't come into our house and say you're the home team.
People don't want you. They want us.
If System Elite wins, the main event will never wrestle at Ryse Wrestling.
No!
at the anniversary show, it's System Elite versus the main event, and we get rid of you for good.
System Elite.
Welcome to the main event.
The best tag team in Pittsburgh today. The perfect combination of size, speed, and power. They are the metahuman Duke Davis, the Pro Wrestling All-Star. They are the main event.
The main event has traveled the country.
It is feast or famine. Duke Davis just said it's time to eat, and we're going to find out if the main event will feast tonight, because it is win or go home. It is championships or bust if the main event does not defeat System Elite for those championships here tonight. Their Ryse career is over. It's ironclad. It's in the contract. If Duke Davis and Ganon Jones Jr. do not win those titles, they will never wrestle at Ryse again.
And the main event, as I started to say, they have been traveling the country, winning tag team gold all over this land, and now they have come home to Ryse Wrestling with one thing on their minds, and that is to win the tag team champions, so much so that they have, like you said, Jim, they put their careers on the line.
Coming fast, chopper with the zip.
The asterisk in the 3-year history of Ryse Pro Wrestling. No honor and no respect among thieves, but those two thieves took the gold and they've kept the gold. It was last March that System Elite shocked the Stronghold using a pair of steel chair shots to be the first team to defeat the main event in 27 months. And since that time, they have done whatever it takes. They have sunk to every and any low to maintain control of Ryse's tag team division. And as we said, it's the ultimate stakes in our first half feature presentation, because we will see the championship coronation of the main event or the end of the main event's Ryse careers.
That's it. It is win or go home here tonight. And like we stated, by hook or by crook, using, as I've stated before, a lot of the methods of the wrong crowd, all these two guys have ever cared about is leaving this building with the tag team titles. And you know what? They do not have to pin System Elite for this to happen tonight, to end their career. Hey, if System Elite gets disqualified, that's a loss.
And Paul, you can feel the tension in this building.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall, and it is for the Ryse Tag Team Championships. Introducing first the challengers, towering in at a combined height of 12 feet, 10 inches tall, the team of the Metahuman Duke Davis, the All-Star Ganon Jones Jr. They are the main event! And introducing their opponents, they are the first ever Ryse Tag Team Champions! At a combined weight of 446 pounds, the team Elite.
And wait a minute, they just jumped the main event with those championships, and the bell hasn't rung.
No, it hasn't. But again, this is System Elite. This has been their MO the whole time. Whatever it takes to walk out with those titles.
Paul, the main event were undefeated for 27 months here in Ryse. The only team to defeat the main event in Ryse are, in fact, System Elite. And now this matchup is officially underway after Ganon and Duke were completely jumped. And Paul, we know that the main event are big-time players.
Oh, without a doubt.
But I have to ask, when you have your career on the line, how does that change your psyche heading into a matchup, quite literally the biggest matchup of their Ryse careers?
Well, this is going to be in the back of their mind that if they do not win these titles here tonight, they are done. So this could help or hinder. You're either going to fight for your life and keep going, or in the back of your mind you're going to slip, and then the next thing you know, you're out of Ryse Wrestling for good.
The main event have been cornerstones of Ryse Wrestling. I would have to ask, what does Ryse Wrestling look like without the main event in tow?
Well, I'll tell you what, it would not be good if we would lose the main event. Yeah, like you said, they are the cornerstone of Ryse Wrestling. They've spent a lot of their time this year in and out of Ryse, obviously, traveling the country, and I would be remiss to say if both these gentlemen, both Duke Davis and Ganon Jones, were recently at the WWE Performance Center for a tryout. But Ryse Wrestling would never be the same if the main event were not to be here.
And think of this, Paul. That WWE Performance Center that these two were at just last week, they had a chance to perform in front of some of the brightest and biggest minds in the history of this sport. Names like William Regal, Norman Smiley, etc., etc.
Sure. And
what does that say about their pedigree as athletes? To me, that's a stamp of approval for the ability of the main event.
Oh, without a doubt. Hopefully Regal had his shoes on the right feet this time, but that's another story for another time. But yeah, they just had the biggest opportunity of their career. They're on a high right now, but tonight they can go from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows if they cannot beat System Elite.
And what a cruel business this could be, because as we said, just last week they were in front of legends like William Regal. And here tonight they could end up having their Ryse career, their home promotion. They could have the door closed on that chapter if they're defeated here.
Sure, just like that, they can go from the penthouse to the outhouse.
And we've said that the main event are tag team continuity personified. Perhaps the only team that brings more continuity than the main event could be System Elite themselves.
Sure. And you heard Edric Everhart stating that this was their ring. And I think this is part of the problem System Elite has with Duke and Ganon. While they feel that
Wait a minute, cover here, Paul. Continue, please.
They feel while they have been here defending those championships, System Elite has been off, not protecting the home territory. They have been traveling the country. They have won gold in several promotions outside of Pittsburgh. And to me, I don't care. You know what? They are still a cornerstone of this business, and they need to be here at Ryse Wrestling.
Well, let's not get it twisted, Paul. The only reason that System Elite are defending their championships against the main event here tonight is because the main event put their careers on the line.
Well, sure. Really, the main event never got a rematch, or at least a match for the opportunity to gain those titles once System Elite did win them. And to be honest with you, I don't think System Elite ever wanted to give them a rematch. But like you said, the main event upped the ante by putting their careers on the line.
And that's the only way that System Elite would have put their name on the dotted line. They only want the chance to try to rid themselves of the main event.
Sure.
Because quite frankly, I think it goes without saying that the main event are the biggest threat to their championship reign. As good as System Elite are, the argument has always been made just who is the best tag team in Ryse.
System Elite continues to feel that way, and really, if you want to go by pure statistics, they have a win over them.
And speaking of tag team strategy, we saw Ty Cross, Edric, Everhart, they're keeping Ganon Jones Jr. in their corner, keeping him away from Duke Davis, who's on the floor right now.
Well, that's the other half. They continue to attack Duke as he tries to get back up on that ring apron, keeping Duke on the floor, Ganon on the mat. Ganon's trying to get over there for a tag, and he's down on the floor.
And there you see it, proof positive, Ganon reaching for a tag as Duke is trying to pull himself back up off the floor after he got the cheap shot from System Elite. Very calculating as Everhart with that neck breaker.
It's gone by 5 minutes.
He measured it for the utmost effectiveness.
Well executed neck breaker by Edric Everhart. Hey, these guys are no slouches. They know they're wrestling. They might be a couple of jerks lately, but they know how it is to compete, and they are definitely tag team specialists.
And here's where he can sap the energy from the bigger opponent, squeezing and restricting the breathing with something as simple as a chin lock. Elementary but effective. And that shows you how polished System Elite are, because they can maximize the impact of those maneuvers. But Ganon, with an act of desperation, throws a drop kick. The vertical leap was impressive, but does he have enough left in the tank?
He does not. As you see, Edric Everhart had a little more in him, was able to get over and make the tag. And once again, Ty Cross attacking Duke Davis on the outside of that apron. Now Duke's on the floor again, so even if Ganon can get up and get to that corner, Duke's not there.
Let's not forget that that's concrete out there.
Every time he hits that, it takes just a little more out of the metahuman.
And this is where System Elite shows you how ruthless they are, because Ty Cross didn't hesitate whatsoever to try to asphyxiate Ganon Jones Jr. in that exchange.
No, and basically right now they're turning this into a 2-on-1 by having Duke Davis down on the outside.
So meticulous is Ty Cross, picking his shots. Hitting Ganon in the kidneys, the ribs. Cover here. And he forced Ganon to move his weight to get his shoulders off the canvas.
Yep, continuing to have Ganon Jones expend energy to kick off that out of those pin attempts as they're trying to wear Ganon down.
And while the championships are proof of the skill of System Elite, how often do you see the main event in jeopardy like this?
No, that's not very often. And again, I would be remiss if I said if you look into the corner of of the main event, well, now Duke's finally getting his way up there. But for a good 5 minutes, Duke was on the floor trying to recover from those shots he's taken.
Duke looks like he may be favoring his ribs, Paul.
Yeah, he may hit them on the way out, Nick.
And Duke with the reprieve. Ganon spikes Edric.
Now he's got to get over there to Duke. He's got to get over to make the tag, but unfortunately, he did not position himself very well in that desperation slam attempt. Edric is kind of blocking the way between himself and Duke Davis.
Pain etched on the face of Ganon Jones Jr. He has to make it to the corner. How bad does Ganon want those tag team championships?
Not only
that, it's gut check time. How far can you dig down?
Sure, not only the championships, but their career.
It's all or nothing for the main event.
He got the tag. Look out. Here comes Duke Davis, the proverbial house of fire.
The metahuman is taking over. And inches away from claiming those championships.
Edric Everhart may have just saved the tag team titles for System Elite.
Super kick right on the butt. And the momentum tilting once again. High stakes situation here in the stronghold. Final cut.
He got him.
Edric bouncing on impact.
He got all of it on that.
Rolling elbow from Ty Cross. Textbook spine buster puts the Pro Wrestling All-Star down.
Ty Cross, the last man standing right now, but look out, Duke Davis is back up.
High drama for the Ryse Tag Team Championship.
I don't think Ty Cross realizes Duke is up on his feet, and he's right behind. Oh, he knows now, brother.
Look out. Did Duke get enough? Did he get enough? No, did not get the elevation.
Did not get any closer than that, though.
Perhaps if Duke Davis was able to get full elevation on that, we would be looking at new champions right now. But let's not forget the main event's Ryse careers are still in jeopardy. And how strategic is that? Edric intercepts.
And he just posted.
Ganon. Another rolling elbow. Duke is on Dream Street.
10 minutes gone by, 10 minutes.
And Paul, we could be moments away from seeing the end of the main event in Ryse.
Duke fighting back now, though.
I believe he got him with the Ace Crusher. The Ace Crusher, it's over.
Duke Davis digging way, way down. Getting his shoulders off that canvas and not only saved their career on that one.
That was a messy exchange, but Everhart got the Ace Crusher out of that. Para super kicks, nowhere for Duke Davis to go. And Ganon diving to save the main event's career. And look at the results, Paul. 4 athletes exhausted in the center of the ring.
It doesn't get any bigger than this.
Oh, look out! Unbelievable! I defy anyone in independent wrestling today. Find an athlete that's 6'7" that can do that.
You won't find one, that's for sure. Now,
bottom line, the main event are special, Paul. Duke Davis and Ganon Jones Jr. are special athletes.
And there are just bodies laying all around this ring right now. All 4 men down. Whoever gets to their feet first is going to have a distinct advantage here.
No one has been able to unseat System Elite.
All 4 men standing, and here they go.
And it's broken down. It's now a fight. It's tooth and nail as these 4 athletes scratch and claw. A tug of war for the future of Ryse's tag team division.
Ganon Jones Jr., Ty Cross on the outside, Duke Davis, Edric Everhart on the inside. This battle is raging on.
Edric gonna take a chance.
And he caught a stiff left hand from Ganon Jones Jr. Ganon Jones calling out the play.
Oh, wait, what? I don't know what 319 means. Look out!
It means System Elite just got dropped.
The metahuman was a human torpedo, and he took out everybody.
And now Duke Davis calling out a play.
Oh, geez. Paul, Ganon's going for a highlight reel moment. Look out!
And he got it.
Again, I defy anyone to find an athlete at 6'7" that can do that. And he's doing it all for those Ryse Tag Team Championships. There is no chance the main event will not take. Their backs are against the wall, and they're going to give it everything they have.
Oh, they have to, because if they don't come out victorious, they are done here at Ryse Wrestling.
Wait a minute. Ty Cross has a championship. An interception of sorts, Paul.
That's it.
That's an INT. Credit to Duke Davis.
Not tonight, buddy.
Ty Cross gets planted.
He got him.
Main event gets the victory.
And lose Ganon Jones Jr., the main event!
The main event has done it! They have not only unseated System Elite to become the tag team champions, but their career goes on here at Ryse Wrestling.
Nearly a year in the making. All the miles traveled from the Stronghold to the Performance Center, from New York to Pennsylvania to Toronto. The main event, their money, the main event are champions. And the best tag team in Pittsburgh can now call themselves the Ryse Tag Team Champions.
Congratulations, Duke Davis and Ganon Jones Jr. on becoming the new Ryse Tag Team Champions.
The stranglehold of System Elite has been released. The asterisk has been erased. And the best tag team in Pittsburgh makes their claim to the Ryse Tag Team Championships. What a moment. What a moment for the main event, and what a moment for Ryse Wrestling.
Everybody trying to rip the door. Get it back to the tri-state. Get it back.
Hailing from Torrero, Florida, accompanied by Benjamin C. Steele, he is RPW, Robert Parker Williams.
Second half of Ryse Pro Wrestling, December 14th, 2019. My name's Jim Amata, being joined by Pittsburgh legend Paul Atlas. And Paul, as you can see, we've seen some dissension between Golden Sheik here.
His opponent.
Not just dissension. Did you see the look around Parker Williams gave BC Steele?
From a yacht you definitely can't afford. And weighing in at 24 karat gold, he is the fashionista of professional wrestling. He is Calvin Couture.
Robert Parker Williams was conspicuous by his absence last month. We found out it was Calvin Couture that swerved RPW and kept him out of the stronghold.
Here, Calvin, where you at?
And introducing his opponent.
Yeah, we heard you the first time, Red.
From a yacht, you
We having technical difficulties? What's going on here?
Well, where's Calvin Couture? Hey, wait, he's on the screen, Paul.
Oh. Hello, Ryse Wrestling. Hello, RPW. Guess what? Since you decided to leave Golden Sheik high and dry last month,
that's not what happened.
Now it's my turn to leave you high and dry. What makes you think that you deserve to go against me one-on-one? I have been the only one holding this sinking ship together. You don't get to face me that easily. But you know what? I have someone for you. A replacement. And I think you might recognize him.
Hey, wait, whoa, Mambo Italiano just jetted past us and blindsides our PW.
Mambo Italiano, another member of Golden Sheik.
He's a member of Golden Sheik International. And BC Steel looks completely puzzled as his best friend, RPW, got blindsided. Now, wait a minute. To clear up the conspiracy theory that Calvin is spewing here, it was Calvin Couture that told RPW that their scheduled matchup last month was canceled. We saw Tyler Klein step in as a last-minute replacement, and then Calvin left Tyler Klein high and dry.
So now RPW shows up here tonight to, I guess, confront Calvin Couture about it. Calvin's not even in the building, apparently. He's sending videos from his home, and now Mambo Italiano is out here, another member of Golden Sheik, and he's starting to beat the living daylights out of RPW, but now here comes RPW back.
Well, clearly, Mambo has sided with Calvin Couture in all of this, but here's the question. Who does BC Steel side with?
BC Steel looks more confused than normal.
And now you don't know what you're doing outside there. Know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You know everything. Come on, Mambo.
Wait, is Mambo relaying the plan to BC? Does BC Steel and Mambo have a plan here? Has RPW walked into another trap?
Well, BC Steel trying to look confused at least.
Oh, man. Wow. RPW hit the concrete.
And I can't tell from our vantage point if his head bounced off that floor or not.
Well, BC looks concerned, but Paul, we've talked about it time and time again. RPW is one of the most underrated technicians of his era.
Sure.
Of his generation.
Trained by the late Devil Budokan, RPW has that sadistic style of wrestling and striking.
And perhaps Calvin Couture wants to put RPW out to pasture so that Couture could get all the spotlight himself.
Well, he claimed in his video that we saw there that he was the one trying to save the sinking ship, so to speak.
And you saw Mambo yelling at BC about he knows what to do. So again, I'm going to ask, does Mambo and BC Steel, do they have a plan here? Is there something that BC Steel knows that maybe RPW doesn't know?
Or is Mambo just trying to get into the head of BC Steel?
Well, we know that BC Steel values money over everything, but he's been friends with RPW outside of professional wrestling. They've been best friends for the better part of almost 20 years.
Sure.
And man, big knockdown center ring from Mambo Italiano, a student of the legendary Lance Storm, putting those Storm Wrestling Academy lessons to work inside the squared circle here.
And RPW is still with his ring jacket on, actually. He has not really been able to get any momentum going in this match at all.
Yeah, notice he does not have the typical Golden Sheik attire on here. So there is clearly a divide. And I can't tell.
Is BC antagonizing or strategizing?
Where are you going?
And forgive me, I can't understand Mambo's accent, but I'm wondering if he's trying to signal to BC Steel. Let's be honest here, Paul. It wouldn't be beneath BC Steel to stab his best friend in the back.
Not without a doubt.
If there's money involved.
He'd sell his own mother on a street corner.
And Mrs. Steele is a wonderful lady. How she birthed BC and dealt with him, she deserves to be nominated for sainthood.
Oh, you ain't whistling Dixie there, pal.
And clearly, Mambo Italiano is on a mission here because he's trying. We saw him dump RPW on the concrete. We saw the cross faces to the chest.
And now stretching the shoulders of RPW. And
he may be on a mission to hurt RPW.
That's exactly what it looks like.
I think that could be the ulterior motive here.
So apparently whatever Calvin Couture problem is with RPW, it's bled over to Mambo.
Mambo showing some ring generalship there, knew where he was, grabbed the ropes to force the break of the pinfall. But nice back suplex from RPW. RPW is so technically sound, moves around the ring so fluid. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I kind of feel bad for RPW. He's being put out to pasture here.
He got hung out to dry last month by Calvin Couture. Couture told him to stay home. Now he's blaming him for staying home. And now another member of his team, so to speak, Mambo Italiano, is out here trying to beat the tar out of him.
Now, wait a minute. BC up on the apron. And again, I'm going to question his intentions. He's about as trustful as Bernie Madoff, especially when it comes to a business deal.
Did you ever get that money back?
Let's not talk about it.
5 minutes gone by, 5 minutes.
Let's not talk about it. Hook of the leg here. I believe RPW is, he's a little pissed off, excuse my language.
Hey, I don't blame him. He's pissed off, he's confused, he don't know what's going on.
And man, rake in the face, that's what I'm telling you. I believe Mambo's out here to hurt RPW one way or another. Inside cradle! He got him!
The winner of this match as a result of a pinfall, RPW Robert Parker Williams!
And BC Steel doesn't look like he's celebrating. He still looks a little unsure of himself. So again, I'm going to ask the question, just where does Steel's alliances lie? Now BC telling Mambo to back off.
Mambo's not now as he's choking RPW with that Italian flag that he brought down to the ring.
Now wait a minute. Mambo is bringing RPW in.
Come on, we got 2 refs out here. Get control.
And BC Steel is standing there as his best friend is getting assaulted.
I don't know if he's trying to reason with Mambo. Well, now he's.
Well, it looks like he's admonishing Mambo, but how sincere is it?
Well, Mambo
I'm as confused as ever because Steel is leaving with Mambo.
Well, he's kind of being drug up the aisle with Mambo. BC doesn't really look like he wants to go with him. He'd rather be checking on RPW.
He's leaving RPW, and what's your problem? It's your best friend for 18 years. You're going to leave the guy laying in the ring. The almighty dollar could have decided BC Steel's loyalty, but we have more questions than we have answers about this situation. But a victory for RPW. However, I don't think that's going to be enough. I think RPW wants to get his hands on Calvin Couture.
No 2 ways about that. So where this heads from here, I don't know.
The fashionista of professional wrestling could be the recipient of a forceful makeover before this thing's over. The nearly year-long war between Doe's Grindhouse and Ryse will erupt.
Look out here.
Oh! Oh my God!
Christy K.
Oh, fireball from
She
Christy
just
K.
threw
Fire in Doe's face! He got it!
I let the Grindhouse get at me emotionally. And even though Ryse won that war, I lost time on my retirement tour.
Brandon K, you're not done with anything. What I see in the ring's pathetic. I'm done. I'm going home. I'm going to retire and stop being Brandon K. Not as long as the Grindhouse is still alive.
The Grindhouse does what we want, when we want, wherever we want.
I ain't forgot about you, Lee. I haven't forgot about you.
Grindhouse ever be exorcised from the stronghold.
Here comes the boss himself, Brandon K.
I'm gonna break your legs. I'm gonna break your fingers. I'm gonna break your arms. And I'm gonna break your goddamn heart.
Lee's beside himself.
You're gonna get what's coming to you.
And this war may never be over.
Introducing first. Street, along with the Neon Tarantino, Derek Direction, the team of Shirley Doe and Derek Direction, the Grindhouse!
The embodiment of evil and the ultimate exploitation are here in the form of the Grindhouse. Derek Direction lives for exploitation and Doe kills for evil. The sadistic Grindhouse have spent the entire year of 2019 on a twisted mission to destroy Ryse. The twisted Grindhouse wants to end this great project that the legendary Brandon K has built. I said it before and I'll say it again. I sincerely believe that this war between the Grindhouse and Ryse will only end when someone's career ends. Someone will have to be put out of this sport before the demons of the Grindhouse could be exorcised from the stronghold.
Well, and if Shirley Doe has his way, this war will end when somebody dies. All he wants to do is kill somebody.
Let's not forget, it was that sick bastard Doe that put his hands on Brandon K's wife several months ago.
I said it before and I'll say it again, that is one thing you do
I
not
demand 30 seconds of absolute silence so we can meditate before this match. 30 seconds of silence starting right now.
And good luck with that, pal.
I don't think the boss is going to let that happen.
Not at all.
And introducing their opponents.
Paul, there are very few people that I will refer to as the Pittsburgh legend. You're one of them.
First to the ring.
And there's another one of them.
At 197 pounds, he is Dunbar's own first class Brandon K.
He is a part of the fabric, a part of the foundation of Pittsburgh professional wrestling. And this young man,
and introducing his tag team partner.
he is the future of not only Pittsburgh, he's the future of the whole damn industry, the apex of combat, Moriarty.
The man I call money.
From Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, weighing in tonight at 82 kilograms, he is Tiger Style, Moriarty.
The best pound-for-pound athlete in the Steel City. This young man, the apex of combat, is truly special.
You're going to be seeing this man on national TV someday real soon. But tonight, he's here with one purpose in mind, and that's to end the Grindhouse.
Names like Sterling James Keenan, a.k.a. Corey Graves. Names like Shima Zion, a.k.a. Joaquin Wilde. I sincerely believe Lee Moriarty is the next breakout star from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But right now, in Wilmot Furnace, Pennsylvania, on this night, the 3rd anniversary spectacular, the Grindhouse versus Team Ryse in what could be the final violent chapter of this twisted story.
He will. You want to buy a ticket to Mario?
And the hatred that the Grindhouse spews towards this Lamont Furnace crowd is being returned in kind. Brandon avoids the contact. Out techniques Shirley Doe in trying to crack the metacarpals of the legendary Madman. And if Doe breaks a finger or breaks a hand, he's not going to be able to throw those trademark forearms.
No, without a doubt. You know, there are very few people in this business that I call a friend, and even fewer that I call my boss. But Brandon K is definitely both to me. I trained this young man, and I am definitely proud of what he's done here at Ryse Wrestling.
You know, Paul, I'm not going to say it with any wrestling hyperbole. I'm going to say it as honestly as I can. Ryse Pro Wrestling is why I'm still involved in the wrestling business after nearly 12 years. I love this damn place, and I love what it stands for. And that's why I can't stand Shirley Doe or Derek Direction. They are trying to destroy Ryse Wrestling.
The hatred has spewed over for months on end.
Oh, look out. Derek has Lee as Brandon's beaten Doe into the seats.
And look at that. Lee Moriarty is showing a new aggression over the last few months in this war against Grindhouse. Sometimes to his own dismay, but he's doing what he has to do. He's getting down in the trenches here.
Lee was all about competition, but he's had to go to a very sick place to compete with the Grindhouse, and they're coming up here, Paul.
I think he broke my fingers.
You okay?
I think he broke my fingers.
Let me look at him.
Should we get the doctor?
Oh,
well.
jeez, Paul, they're on our table.
Jeff, let go.
Oh. The doctor is not in the house.
And I can't say I feel any sympathy for Doe. Cover in the ring. 2 damn minutes into the match and we're dodging wrestling.
Tell you what, I think
it's an occupational hazard, Paul.
I think Brandon knocked a little sense out of him. Doe thought it was the 90s for a second there.
Cover here. And in mere moments, this thing is completely broken down.
Referee Nick Davidson has absolutely no control so far of this match. And I don't know if he's ever going to get control.
Well, this war has been out of control since it started nearly a year ago. Moriarty up and over. Doe low bridges Brandon. Brandon hit the concrete very, very hard, and now it's the apex of combat at a numbers disadvantage.
It's freaking over.
Oh, look out. Moriarty's got no way to protect himself. And Doe has made it no secret. He's made it public in the past. He doesn't care about winning matches against Lee Moriarty. He wants to end Moriarty's career. He wants to make sure that Lee never gets to that breakout status. Uh-oh, Brandon got caught. Precarious position here.
What are they trying to do?
I think insult and injury were the intent that time. Derek drops an elbow to the heart of Brandon K and metaphorically into the heart of Ryse. Moriarty got launched off the apron that time by Doe. And Paul, I want to make this clear. I'm never going to take anything away from Derek Direction as a wrestler. He is extremely talented, one of the most talented athletes on the independent scene. However, his attitude and his motives are sickening and disgusting.
I don't know what this little temper tantrum he's been throwing lately here in Ryse Wrestling.
He's an egomaniac.
Claiming he wasn't on Brandon K's list of retirement opponents that he wanted to face in his retirement tour. According to Derek Direction, that is the basis for this entire feud, if you will. And I think the guy just needs to grow up a little bit.
And look at the sadistic smile on Doe's face. It's not about competition for Shirley Doe. He truly enjoys hurting people. It's legalized assault. That's what he uses the squared circle for.
That's, that was one of the few reasons Shirley Doe chose professional wrestling as his profession, because he can legally assault people.
I hate all of you people.
What a vile individual is Derek Direction.
I've never met an individual who hates himself, probably hates himself as much as he hates the humanity around him.
Moriarty got hung up coming through the ropes, and that's Doe's PhD in ring psychology. And I shudder to think what's going to happen when the odds are against Team Ryse here. Because we know there's no low that Derek Direction won't sink to. And I don't even want to bring it up, but I feel like I have to here. If you remember that video that Derek had play here in the Stronghold when he threatened to stalk Christy K, Brandon's wife.
I've said it many a times. There's certain places you don't go. You don't stalk a man's wife. You don't put your hands on another man's wife. You just don't do things like that.
Brandon off the ropes here. Trying to rally back here. That same heart, passion, and desire that has fueled his career for over 22 years.
Firing away at Doe now.
And could this thing possibly resemble some semblance of a standard tag matchup?
Well, it is no DQ, so technically they don't have to tag in.
You're right, Paul. I'm sorry. I've been so flustered with we had bodies up here and bodies flying in the. You're right. It's no DQ. That's why there haven't been tags. Wait a minute. Moriarty off the wall. Derek put on the brakes. I believe hit Moriarty with a throat thrust. Paul, I'm so out of sense. I'm telling you, these guys, they live to cause chaos.
They're definitely unnerving you here tonight, that's for sure. And I can't see what the hell Direction's doing down there. It looks like is he stacking chairs on top of Moriarty?
Well, the violence is escalating, obviously. And quite frankly, I'm worried as to how violent this matchup's going to get.
I'm surprised so far. It's contained basically just to the ring and ringside area.
Wait a minute, Direction. Brandon doesn't see him. Look out. Derek Direction measures Brandon K and took the shot with the rolling elbow.
Yeah, but he actually helped Brandon execute that Russian leg sweep on Shirley Doe at the same time.
And I believe that Moriarty is still down on the floor. Cover here.
How about that? The Neon Tarantino censored himself.
Up and over went Derek, but there's Doe. The assault of the Grindhouse is relentless. Finley roll from Doe. And what agility from Derek Direction. I hate to say it, but he stuck the moonsault. Lee back in the fray, but for how long?
He may have just saved this match for himself and Brandon.
The scars on Lee Moriarty's soul from this war with the Grindhouse may never fade. Moriarty trying to fight them both off here. Leapfrog into the facebuster. Nice innovative offense from the apex of combat.
He plants Direction.
Cover, hooks the leg. Damn it. Mucha pass from Direction. Tilt-a-whirl. Moriarty around the other side. Nice tandem offense from Team Ryse. Lee floats over.
And Doe with the save at the last possible second.
Absolute chaos at the Ryse 3rd anniversary event here.
Well, we knew it would be when Grindhouse gets together and goes after any members of Ryse Wrestling.
As Moriarty's taken over on Doe, Brandon's trying to go after Direction. And listen to the shots from the apex of combat. He's got Lee boxed in the corner, does Doe.
Meanwhile, Brandon's got Derek Direction down and he's got a foot across his throat.
The chaos tilting back and forth as the Grindhouse and Ryse trading the advantage here.
And all referee Nick Davison can do is ask him if he wants to continue.
Doe and Derek collide. Standing switch from Direction, who jars the spine of Brandon K. We I believe, came down with a double stomp. A pair of covers. I can't quite see who all kicked out. Nick Davidson said everybody kicked out.
And then Lee with a straight right hand to the jaw of Derek Direction.
We can barely keep up with this. Lee up and over. Stomp down across the neck.
There's almost a curb stomp right in the back of the neck of Derek Direction. And now look out, they're coming up this way now.
Jesus. And you can hear the contact. Oh, jeez. Oh, God.
Captain America's shield to the head. Chair to the head.
Moriarty wants... I'm sorry, Direction wants the chair at Moriarty. And they're up near us. Where is Direction taking Moriarty?
They're leaving the arena. Meanwhile, in the ring, we still got Kay and Doe.
And from what I understand, the decision does have to take place in the ring. I don't know where Direction left Lee.
Now, where's Moriarty?
Direction's heading to the ring with a chair, and Brandon K doesn't see him.
But Lee's nowhere to be found. What happened out in that hallway?
Look out. Oh, God. It's complete anarchy here, courtesy of the Grindhouse.
And now, with whatever happened to Lee, they have now separated Brandon. I don't know what they did with Moriarty. And now it's a 2-on-1.
And they're going for that spike pile driver, that same spike pile driver that they attempted. And they oh my God!
Right on the chair, they got him.
Brandon's head bounced. His neck, the spine compressed. Oh, not like this.
And Brandon K kicks out. Wow. Shirley Doe is beside himself. Derek Direction's beside himself. They have no clue how he did that. Neither do I.
Paul, I don't know how the hell Brandon kicked out, but his neck, his spine got compressed. They are trying to end his career. They want to taint the legacy forever of Brandon K.
And again, I have no idea where Lee Moriarty is.
Oh, whoa, blow. And I know it's no DQ, but damn it, Nick, do something about this. Wait, here's Lee.
But too late.
They got the pinfall. The Grindhouse, damn it.
This match as a result of the pinfall, the Neon Tarantino, Derek Direction, and Shirley Doe, the Grindhouse.
This is a damn shame. At the biggest event for Ryse in 2019, a dastardly low blow has Brandon K pinned by the Grindhouse.
And one more time, the Grindhouse has upped Ryse Wrestling again.
Come on, guys, get out. Get the hell out of here! I got nothing to do with any of you.
You see who won that match? The Grindhouse!
It's a damn son of a bitch!
What the heck's going on with these guys?
He may be dressed in white, but believe me, that is no angel. Christian Noir, the sickest and soulless member of the Grindhouse.
Pointing up at that snow coming down in his intro, he is definitely not as pure as the driven snow.
And introducing his opponent, standing at 5 feet tall and hailing from Cape Town, South Africa, she is Honey Badger!
This young lady was dubbed the fiercest female in Ryse, but she is not the same young lady that we saw before. The war with the Grindhouse has scarred the Badger. Clearly, she will never be the same. And hatred is a hell of a motivator, Paul.
That is for sure. And I'll tell you what, during that Ryse Grindhouse contest, Badger was literally knocked out. And we hadn't seen her in this building since then until last event.
And this is an entirely new young lady. Usually she was a very positive force with the Badger tribe. She encouraged fan support. She supported the fans that supported her. She's on a completely different wavelength right now. She may never be the same again.
I doubt she ever will be.
As the fiercest female in Ryse, raking the skin off of the back of the torso of Noir. Look out! And Paul, this is such a different look at the Badger that we've seen in the past. This crowd almost has a concerned hush over it.
Yeah, nobody knows what's going to go on here right now. And you know, like you said, we've never seen Honey Badger in this frame of mind before.
You know, Paul, Badger made it clear when she got put out back in August that she would come back with a vengeance on every member of the Grindhouse. And she has an opportunity to make good on that promise. But the dangerous side of Noir can just not be understated.
No, not in the least bit. This guy is as dangerous and macabre as they come.
And you want to talk about dangerous? How about this last competitor standing situation?
Hey, I've been in this exact very type of match. And
last man standing. What's your strategy?
You got to knock your opponent out. I'm
using that as a general term, by the way. I understand the Badger.
Right.
I mean, this is gender neutrality in a sense, but what's the strategy of is Noir using the post? This is how dangerous he is, using the ring post to assault his opponent.
But that's the kind of things you have to do. You have to figure out a way to incapacitate your opponent to the point where they cannot answer a 10 count.
So what's your strategy here?
Well,
if you're in this matchup,
I'm just going straight at him. I'm hitting him with everything I can, anything I can. Yeah, blows to the head, why not? Concussions, who cares? Knock him out.
And you heard that thud to the sternum of Noir.
And one thing I can tell you, like I said, I have been in last man standing matches, and they will change you.
Well, the Badger has already had her psyche challenged by this war with the Grindhouse. Look out. Oh, God. Look out. Noir doesn't see her. And where's she, Paul? Where's she going?
Right. She's just like eerily stalking Christian Noir. I've never seen the side of Honey Badger before.
Oh, God. Like a kamikaze off the apron, launching herself at Noir. And think about it, Paul. In a standard matchup, you can get a quick win with a roll-up with an inside cradle for a 3 count. In this situation, you have to meticulously beat your opponent to the point that they can't answer a 10 count.
Exactly.
Do you realize the amount of punishment? Well, I'm sure you do, obviously. But but the amount of punishment that you have to inflict on an opponent to keep him down for a 10 count.
You have to. You almost have to make it so they're unconscious.
Exactly. That's the word I was going to use. Unconscious. You've seen it in boxing and mixed martial arts when someone is knocked out. The detrimental effect it can have to the rest of their career.
I mean, this just shows you the depths that this war has gone to. We're in an age where everybody's aware of head trauma. Everybody's aware of concussions. And these two are in a match right now where this is the object. Create as much trauma to the head of your opponent and knock them out.
And Badger may not be able to stand after her lumbar region racked against the apron several times, but she's still on her feet. So referee George will not start a 10 count. You have to be off your feet for that count to even begin. And Paul, as far as someone getting knocked unconscious, as I said, that can change the entire path of someone's career.
Sure.
To borrow an example from mixed martial arts, when the legendary Chuck Liddell suffered a few knockouts in a row, his career went south quick.
That's it. Head injuries, as we've come to know, are nothing to joke about. Gone are the days of just walking it off. But again, this type of match encourages that.
And that's how violent this rivalry has gotten. But for the first time ever that we've ever seen, someone got inside the sick, demented mind of Christian Noir. Someone was playing head games with Noir. Some turnabout is fair play.
And that's exactly how Badger got this match signed with Noir. She got inside his head. She went somewhere where nobody has ever gone before.
And that's a scary place to be inside the cranium of Christian Noir.
No, I wouldn't want to be there. But she got him to agree to this match.
Oh, man, look at Noir trying to gouge out the eye. That's sick. He's trying to gouge the eyes of the Badger here. He is a sick man.
Much like Shirley Doe, this guy knows only one gear, and that's full speed ahead and injure.
And again, you're seeing Noir focus on the back after he drove the lumbar region into the apron, that snap suplex. And as referee George is putting the count down, Noir pacing like a caged lion.
Circling her.
Almost like he's waiting for the opportunity to inflict more punishment, to inflict more pain on Honey Badger.
He didn't give her a chance to even get to her feet. He broke that 10 count on his own.
Noir charges in and got racked with a back elbow. But how much of a reprieve will that give the Badger?
Badger slips that last forearm.
And again, Noir, there is literally nothing he won't do to an opponent. He's trying to gouge out her eyes, Paul. I believe Badger tried to bite him. Did he just kiss Honey Badger?
I think he did while he was choking her, no less.
And he's taking a perverse enjoyment in hurting the Badger here. And this is disgusting. Oh, that is gross. Come on. I know it's last man standing, but George can assert some authority here.
Yeah, a little bit here. Let's have a little bit of decency while we have this match going on.
The pleasure that he takes in doing this is disgusting.
And let's not forget, he has sat at the tree of knowledge of Shirley Doe over the past years.
And that's a demented altar to sit by, I'll tell you that.
And you can see that right now in Noir's demeanor and the way he's approaching this match.
And he's trying to strangle the Badger on the ropes, and there's nothing that George Ross can do about it.
No, he can't. He can pretty much decapitate her with that cable.
And being boxed in the corners where you don't want to be against Noir. And here's where Noir is going to employ his size advantage.
He just drove her into the canvas. Now, what's Noir doing out here? What's he looking for?
We don't need more chairs involved here.
Don't forget, it was that violent chair shot that put Honey Badger on the shelf for so long after that war.
And the danger here is I'm getting very, very uncomfortable right now. He's trying to humiliate her, Paul.
At the same time, he's not just trying to gain a victory. He wants to punish and humiliate Honey Badger.
Badger avoids the contact.
And so does Noir. Luckily, he was able to block himself from hitting that chair in a precarious position.
I'm not sure how much Badger has left in the tank here. She's using that low center of gravity to generate some offense. Oh, man!
Right into the chair.
The edge of that chair may have caught Noir in the throat, and everyone's on the canvas right now.
Somebody's got to get to their feet here.
This is scary, Paul. The level of violence that the Grindhouse has inflicted on what should be a celebration of Ryse has been unsettling, to say the least.
In these past two matches, the Grindhouse has definitely brought this house down. Badger now fighting back with those clotheslines, continuing to knock Noir right off his feet.
Look out.
What's she going for here? Back suplex.
Noir bounces off the canvas.
Now Badger with the chair. What's she going to do here?
10 minutes gone by, 10 minutes.
Look out.
She just nailed him.
And he may be out cold. I can't tell from our vantage point. And she's willing to risk her own body.
Yeah, how much damage did that do to Badger as well as Noir?
Self-sacrifice from the Honey Badger in this war against Noir. Badger, I believe, she's up to her feet. Noir is not.
Down.
And Badger, I believe, she's
got that chair set up in the corner now. Noir is back on his feet.
She's trying to go for her next step here. Oh, look out. Noir puts on the brakes.
Oh.
Badger does not. Her head collides with a steel chair yet again. And those ring ropes may be the only thing that are holding Badger up as she awkwardly slumps in the corner.
Noir back on the outside looking for some more furniture, I guess.
That's another chair, which is going to escalate the violence even further. Paul, I'm concerned here.
5 count now.
I'm concerned here because Noir's not finished.
Badger finally starting to start out, back down.
Now, Noir just broke the count, and that tells you the story, Paul. He wants to end her career.
What's he doing?
He could have won the match there.
I have no idea what Noir's doing at this point. This guy's completely lost his mind.
He wants to put the Badger out of professional wrestling.
Well, that's obvious.
Badger could be fighting for her career in there. Noir purposely broke up the count for the chance to hurt Badger even further.
Badger desperately trying to fight back now.
This is a dangerous spot. And I'm telling you, I'm really concerned with what Noir has planned here. Badger's all hung up. She's got nowhere to go, Paul.
No, not at all. He's got her tied up in those ropes.
She's stuck. She's at the mercy of the merciless Noir.
Still trying to fight back here, though.
She's fighting with everything she has. Wait, she's got him.
Noir fighting back, though.
This exchange. Now look out. Turnabout, fair play. It's now Noir hung up on those ropes.
Badger just kind of clawing away at Noir.
Yeah, she's living up to her name. Scratching and clawing. Tooth and nail. Anything she can do to get an advantage against the Bayou Scarecrow.
Now Badger's going up. She's got Noir hooked.
Oh, man. High risk here.
Superplex. Both athletes down.
Paul, after all of this, I got to ask you, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what in the world is it going to take for someone to get a 10 count here?
I don't know. I mean, although right now, both individuals barely moving. But we've got to have somebody get up. That's the only way there's a winner. I mean, what happens if neither one answers the bell?
Badger using those ropes to will herself to her feet. As I said, hatred is a hell of a motivator. And that motivation brought Badger up to her feet. Noir using gravity to get back to his feet.
He just rolled himself out to the floor, and thus he was on his feet by a technicality.
Gravity was Noir's best friend right there. And you can see the frustration, the exhaustion on the face of the Honey Badger.
15 minutes.
Noir is barely moving. Perhaps Badger wants to try to put this thing away, have one home run swing.
She's got him back in the ring now.
Wait, Noir's got the chair.
That chair.
She put Noir in the ring first.
Badger caught it. Now Noir caught it.
Oh, look out. We got a tug of war for the chair. These two are exhausted. What a physical fight this has been. She has the stunner, but Noir's still on his feet.
He's wobbling.
And she's going to try to chop Noir down. If she goes after those knees, he's not going to be able to stand. He won't be able to reach the 10 count. This is smart strategy, Paul.
Oh, yeah. Badger's just chopping him down like a tree.
Noir defiant till the end. Oh, God! Right across the top of the skull.
But again, both athletes down.
Noir's not moving. He may be unconscious, but the Badger has to get herself back up to her feet. I said it, hatred is a hell of a motivator.
Badger now crawling up on the
Noir's
ropes.
not moving. If Badger can get up, she has this thing won. She's up. Noir is not.
Badger has gotten to her feet. Noir has not moved since that shot to the head. And that's it.
The winner of this match as a result of a knockout, Honey Badger!
Nearly 6 months of retribution has come to roost for the Honey Badger. A measure of revenge against Christian Noir and the Grindhouse. The Badger is back. And the Grindhouse better be looking behind their shoulders everywhere they go.
And Christian Noir still has not moved. since that shot to the head by Honey Badger.
Noir just now is
finally gotten to his feet.
And what does this mean for Christian Noir? One thing you can give him, Christian Noir has sacrificed his body for this sport.
He has taken one hellacious beating tonight. In a losing effort nonetheless, but he is still on his feet.
The Iceman, a man that has found himself, that has grown by leaps and bounds here in the Stronghold. The man who has taken his game to an entirely different level. The young man that has grown into one of the most stellar athletes in Pittsburgh, Tony Johnson, has a chance to realize all the potential that we have talked about for several months, Paul. The Iceman has a chance to stake his claim, to etch his name in the history books of Pittsburgh wrestling here tonight. The Ryse Grand Championship has existed for 24 months of the 3-year history of this promotion. And out of those 24 months, Matt Conard has been the Ryse Grand Champion for 18 of those months. 2/3 of the history of the Grand Championship has been carried by Matt Conard. No one has been associated with the Grand Championship as much as Matt Conard. And he has shown that he is obsessed. He will do anything to retain that championship.
Much like his running buddies, System Elite, he will do anything to walk out the champion. However, as we saw earlier tonight, System Elite fell to the main event. And now, Matt Conard going up against Tony Johnson. Let's not forget, he is a member of the main event. Could history repeat itself tonight in this ring and the main event carry all the gold out of here?
following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 60-minute time limit.
Let's do the hour.
Introducing first, from St. Louis, Missouri, weighing in tonight at 195 pounds, he is the Iceman, Tony Johnson! And introducing the champion, from Derry, Maine, weighing in tonight at 215 pounds, he is the Reaper, Matt Conard!
December 14th of 2019. My name is Jim Amata, being joined by Pittsburgh legend Paul Atwis. This is our feature presentation of the Ryse 3rd anniversary show, being brought to you by IndyWrestling.us in association with the Indie Wrestling Network. We have the longest reigning and defending Ryse Grand Champion, Matt Conard, being challenged by the winner of the Rise of a Contender tournament, the Iceman, Tony Johnson. Ryse's biggest stage for the Ryse Grand Championship. Opening bell here, Paul. And in a very ironic twist, Tony Johnson has been undefeated in the Stronghold since June of 2018. The last person to defeat Tony Johnson in this building was the man that he shares the ring with right now, Matt Conard.
Yeah, that was a 30-minute Iron Man match, ironically enough, also for the #1 contendership to the Ryse Grand Championship, which Conard went on to win.
These two athletes are very familiar with one another. They have exchanged matches around the tri-state area for the past 5 years. First in Black Diamond Wrestling in West Virginia, into Ohio, and of course here in Pennsylvania in Lamont Furnace for the Stronghold.
Come back with your man. What a real champion.
5 years, 3 states, and the highest stakes in Ryse history, because Ryse Pro Wrestling has been rapidly growing for the past 3 years. We'll find out who leads Ryse into 2020 as the Grand Champion. Only 3 men in the 2-year history of that championship have held the title. Quite frankly, we've seen Matt Conard defeat all comers, but the same can be said for Tony Johnson being undefeated in the past year and a half. Nice escape from Conard to grab wrist control. Transitions to the hammerlock before he grabs control of the head. Johnson slides through with the waist lock. Conard going for that heel hook. And good ring generalship from Tony Johnson, knowing exactly where he was to grab the ropes there to force the break.
Yeah, a little feeling out going on here, which is not too surprising, but a little bit surprising because both these men do know each other very well.
Paul, I think because they know each other so well, no one wants to slip. No one wants to make any mistake because these two are top tier. You have one mistake, they can exploit it and change the matchup completely. These two probably want to take their time with the 60-minute championship time limit. And you can see the intensity in the eyes of both Conard and Tony Johnson. They understand this is the prime spot. This is the spot for the championship in Ryse Wrestling.
That's it. This is the biggest stage for the biggest prize.
Johnson grabs the arm. Notice how Johnson tries to take a wider base to add to the leverage.
That he does. Not just trying to torque that elbow, but the shoulder as well.
Cravat-style headlock from Johnson, again trying to maintain control of the champion. A real physical chess match in the opening moments, but we expected that.
Sure. Both men kind of jockeying for position, a little bit of moving around, trying to get the upper hand, but not too far in advance, just trying to feel each other out. Like we said, that one slip, that could be a 3 count.
And notice how Conard was going to try to shoot Johnson off. Johnson anticipated it and was able to adjust and put the brakes on. And again, you can see Johnson taking a low center of gravity to maintain control of the head. And not only do you have someone wrenching on your head, but you can speak to this, Paul. It's also a mentally disorienting when you have someone, trying to twist your neck.
Sure.
Conard opts to power his way out.
A lot of people think a headlock is a simple maneuver, but there's a lot going on.
Shoulders down! And a 2 count in the early going. Conard could be going for that drop DDT. And these two know each other so well. Unbelievable agility, poetry in motion in our feature presentation.
And there's that familiarity we talked about. Johnson knew exactly what Conard was going for.
Knee whip, something you can appreciate. Has Conard all twisted up. And man, these two are putting their foot on the gas. Johnson measuring the champion. Handspring. And a counter to a counter. That is how well these two know each other.
5 minutes gone by, 5 minutes.
The champion frustrated and is going to take some time to collect himself. But I have to ask you, Paul, how does the mental side of a matchup change when the stakes are this high? How does the mental approach, how does the strategic approach change as this matchup unfolds?
Well, you got to stay sharp mentally, but you can't overthink things because, again, just as easy.
Oh, wait a minute.
Like Conard's trying to take a height here. Johnson going after him, though. He's not going to let Conard walk away.
We said that Conard would do anything to retain the championship, and he was willing to walk out of a grand championship match at the anniversary event. This is Ryse's biggest event on the calendar, and Conard was willing to take a count-out loss to save his title.
Yeah, as we talked about before at the beginning of the match, he only cares about one thing, and that's walking out here with that belt. He doesn't care if he gets the victory. He just wants to keep the belt.
Johnson going to press forward, but he better be careful. Wait a minute, Conard's got the chair, and he's going to try to get himself disqualified. Oh, no, wait, Nick, you can't, we can't
have
do
it
this.
Like this. This can't end this way. No, not this way.
What the hell are you doing, Conard? Paul, we can't let this happen.
Nick Davidson has called for the bell.
Matt Conard is a selfish bastard because he's going to try to ruin our anniversary event.
Wait a minute now. The ref has called for the bell. Conard's not done.
We can't. And now he's assaulting Johnson with the chair. Paul, we can't let this happen.
Do we got security here or something?
Well, we have no general manager because Jim Sterling is not here tonight. Who the hell's going to make a
decision on this? Are we going to let those referees' decisions stand?
Paul, we can't do this. Oh, this is BS. This is BS, Paul.
Conard has gotten himself
that selfish bastard cares only about himself and that championship.
He's walking out here.
We can't.
Conard, you know you just showed your hand, right? If you had to use a chair this early in the match, you know there's no way you would have beat me. Coming in tonight, I knew a couple of things, at least I thought. I know you're the Reaper. I know you're the Ryse Grand Champion. But one thing I didn't know that you were is a bitch.
I believe Johnson just pulled Conard's park card.
Right here in front of a capacity crowd. What are you going to do about it, Conard? Conard just got called out by Tony Johnson.
Pride before the fall.
What are you going to do about it, tough guy?
Restart the match!
And Conard's ego is probably the only thing that drove him back into that ring. But Johnson has been hurt with that chair.
He's restarted the match.
And that was no bravery from Matt Conard. He knows that Johnson's injured by the chair.
Yeah, he wouldn't be going back in there if Tony Johnson was fresh, that's for sure. But I tell you what, give Johnson credit.
And he just kicked Johnson in the kidneys.
Yeah, but I got to give Johnson credit. Even if he doesn't win the match, at least he goaded Conard into getting back in there and actually trying to fight. Instead of running away like, well, the bitch he said he was.
And again, Conard, not only is he a true champion, but he's a shark. He has the mentality of a champion, but he's also, I mean, he's borderline crazy with how obsessed he is with that title. He is going to zero in on the injuries to Tony Johnson.
Just driving Johnson into that buckle with all his might, wrenching that back once again.
And you can see the pain etched on the challenger's face as Conard continuing to stomp on the lumbar region, the most susceptible spot to damage in the spine. Conard charges in. Johnson gets the feet up. Nice transition from Johnson, but you have to wonder how much damage has been done to the back. Interception from Conard, who made the challenger pay. Johnson went crashing to the canvas that time.
Yeah, Johnson definitely feeling the effects of that, but he keeps fighting back. This could be it here, though.
Paul, you've had to fight through a lot of injuries when you were an active wrestler for 25 years. When you're injured during the course of a matchup, how does that change your strategy?
Oh, you got to try to, obviously you want to try to avoid contact to that area as much as you can.
You almost have to go into more of a defensive mode.
Exactly. It's more of a stick and move type philosophy. But I'll tell you this, Tony Johnson and I have gone head to head on several occasions. You know, I referenced the last man standing match that I was in. That match was against Tony Johnson. So I can tell you right now, from firsthand experience, this man is one tough son of a bitch.
2 count there. And you can see Conard, he appears to be questioning himself.
Well, yeah, Johnson called him out. He come down, thought he was going to take advantage of that chair shot, and Johnson's still on his feet fighting.
And these slaps to Johnson are just disrespectful.
Yeah, but he better be careful there because he's going to wake the sleeping giant.
Johnson's hitting another gear here. Johnson knows the culmination of his career has brought him to this moment. Everything Tony Johnson has done for the past 7-8 years in professional wrestling has led him to this. He can solidify himself among the best in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Johnson definitely wants to walk out of here with a grand championship. He wants to walk out of here with a victory over Matt Conard. He wants to prove once and for all that he is not only the best in Ryse wrestling, but he's the best in Pittsburgh wrestling.
Swing and a miss from Conard. Goes for the handspring. Conard counters and lariats Johnson out of his shoes.
He turned him inside out with that.
And that could be all. Deep hook of the leg. The challenger gets his left shoulder up. Paul, I'm going to show you how serious I am about this point. When you talk about the best in Pittsburgh, of course you talk about Matt Conard. You talk about Lee Moriarty. You talk about Jack Pollock. You talk about names like Wardlow. Tony Johnson could put his name among those names of the best in Pittsburgh if he's victorious here.
And that's exactly what Johnson's fighting for, and that's why he called Conard back out after Conard tried to take the cheap way out with that chair shot and a disqualification.
Bicycle kick intercepted.
Conard caught it.
And there's the kick, but I don't know. Does Johnson realize where he's at?
Johnson's definitely trying to fight it off now. He's got to fight that pain off, and he's got to roll himself over, try to get a cover on Conard here.
Paul, after the hellacious tournament that Johnson had to go through to secure this shot at the biggest championship in Ryse on Ryse's biggest stage, you know as well as I do that if he comes up short here, it would take him months to put himself back in this position, if ever.
Oh, without a doubt, he fought through months of that tournament to gain this spot, but if he loses here, it's back down to the bottom of the ladder.
Johnson again, fake out to Conard, a counter to a counter. Misdirection from the Iceman, who launches himself as a champion.
Yeah, but he landed on that back. You saw him clutch it there as he hit the canvas.
Back elbow connects, forearm, deep European uppercut. Seamless offense from the Iceman.
There's that springboard.
He caught it. But again, the question is, does he have enough left to make a cover?
You see him clutching.
Oh, wait a minute. Everhart and Ty Cross are out here, and we've seen this month after damn month. They're going to get Conard disqualified and save his damn championship.
Yeah, they came up short themselves earlier tonight against the main event, but now they're out here again.
Oh, damn it. Come on.
We've seen this how many times in the last several months?
Don't let this happen.
Come on, Nick.
Wait a minute. Miscue from System 08.
Everhart caught Cross instead.
And Johnson just took care of Edric.
But look out behind him. He doesn't see Conard.
Drop down DDT.
Conard plants him.
That's got to be it. No! Johnson kicked out! The Iceman will not be denied! Not on this night!
Amazingly enough, Iceman Tony Johnson able to get that shoulder up and continue to fight. Conard's beside himself. He doesn't know what to do. You can hear the frustration now from the Reaper, Matt Conard.
He's going for it again.
Johnson turns him, though, drives him into that buckle.
And Johnson continuing to will himself forward, trying to block out the paint. Conard with the bicycle kick intercepted. Oh, look out. Look at the physical struggle here. The Iceman getting the better of this.
Into the backbreaker.
But you can see how much even offensive maneuvers take out of the challenger here.
Yeah, Johnson clutching that back each and every time there's an impact.
He may simply not have the physical energy to mount enough offense. But damn it, he's going to empty. He will be out of it. He will give everything he has. Oh, God!
Right to the side of the
spinning elbow, and we heard the contact. Johnson lands on his feet. Hits the kick.
Again with that kick.
Come on, Tony, go for the cover.
Still jarring that
Make
back,
yourself
though.
a storm right here. Damn.
And Conard kicks out.
Damn it.
You know, much like that 30-minute Iron Man match we saw with these two, they laid it all on the line. They left it all in the ring, and they're doing that again tonight. The greatest prize in Pittsburgh wrestling, the Ryse Grand Championship.
Paul, it's matches like this. It's contests like this that define what Ryse Pro Wrestling is. These athletes give you everything they have.
I don't know who's going to win this match at this point. Both men are pretty evenly matched here, but whoever does is going to leave it everything they have in this ring tonight. They're going to empty the tank and win, lose, or draw.
Think about what Johnson's has had to overcome. He was assaulted with that chair.
Then attacked by System Elite.
And he's willing to take a chance.
Sure, this is going to create a lot of impact on his back, but he's still willing to go for the maneuver.
You have to admire the guts of Tony Johnson.
Conard doing everything he can to block it.
And just listen to those shots to the back.
And Conard knows the only way out of that is to continue to pound on that lower back of Tony Johnson's. That was the only way for him to get out of that predicament there.
Conard's not an aerial expert, but we've seen him come off the top before.
Very precariously perched up there.
Look out.
Johnson went up and
oh,
got
man,
him.
This is dangerous.
Look out.
Exploder off the top.
But how much did that take out of Johnson? You see him there again, clutching that lower back.
What a matchup. What a matchup for the Grand Championship. Crucifix. Damn.
Yeah, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to say it right now, Jim. Whoever wins this match, both these competitors gave us everything they have, and neither one of them has anything to be ashamed of.
This is guts here. And what a championship coronation it'll be if Johnson's victorious. But he will have to wrestle away that title from the man that is obsessed with being the grand champion.
Conard was trying to drive Johnson right out to that floor.
This is dangerous,
again.
Paul. They're above the concrete. If one of these guys hits the floor, their night is over. Forget about it.
Oh, well.
The fate of the Grand Championship could teeter on that apron.
That's right. We've mentioned it many times before. That's solid concrete out there. There is no padding on that floor outside our ring.
Oh, look out. No, not on the apron.
Trying to do?
Oh, no. The spine racks against the apron. And, Paul, that's got to be it.
There's nothing outside that apron but the steel bars.
No.
Johnson kicks out again. Oh, my gosh. I can't believe it.
I'm in shock.
Conard can't believe it. Conard's beside himself right now. He's trying to think once again to himself, what does he got to do to pin Johnson?
Johnson is digging as deep as anyone humanly can dig. And now you can see the wheels turning for the champion.
Yeah, but are they turning in what to do next? And are they turning in disbelief that the fact that no matter what he's done here tonight, he cannot pin Tony Johnson?
Oh, man, Paul, you can just hear those shots.
Again, just
flesh on flesh, bone on bone.
Pounding on that lower back.
Johnson's fighting for his life here.
Yeah, these guys got to be careful.
He's fighting for his professional life.
Somebody tumbles to the floor. It's going to be...
But when Johnson's perched up top. Could be a home run swing in the feature presentation.
He got him.
Kick off the top.
He got him.
Make the cover. Go for it. He hooks the leg.
New champion. He got him.
Who won this match? And new Ryse Grand Champion, the Iceman, Tony Johnson.
The Iceman's 18-month odyssey has culminated in a victory at the biggest event on the calendar for the Ryse Grand Championship.
Tony Johnson is the new Ryse Grand Champion. This young man gave it everything he had, and it is well deserved.
One of the most talented athletes we've seen in Ryse.
And look out, here comes the main event.
And now call himself Ryse Grand Champion.
The main event has reunited in the ring, all three members, and they are all champions here at Ryse.
Paul, this scene speaks for itself, so I think we're going to sign off here. For Paul Atlas, my name's Jim LaMotta. We'll see you at Ryse Wrestling in 2020. And for 2020, I only have one thing to say for Ryse Pro Wrestling. Welcome to the main event.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.